Back on Monday, having conversations with the dragons, and I'm calling in Rafael today. Rafael is the silver dragon, and he's part of the collective that I speak to. I have 8 dragons in my collective, all about the evolution, how you can live in a 5D state, how you can live and ascend in graceful ease, how you can work all through all your human problems and have everything much easier and work out more effectively. And this can be to do with your business, this can be to do with your finance, and this can be to do with your relationships, your body, everything. I was using this kind of way of living in the 5D world just yesterday, and I did a post about it if you want to have a look at it on my page. This is basically how I live now, and I am living in the 5D world. So I'm calling in the dragons. I'm asking for help with lost and found. So at the weekend, one of my sons was in a frantic panic because he couldn't find his keys for his scooter, and he was doing his internship, his stage this week, and he wasn't able to find his keys. So I was teaching him that it's not all about looking for things. He'd looked here and he'd looked there, and he employed me to look as well in his room, emptied his whole room out. We looked in the garage of all the places that it could have fallen. We looked in the kitchen, looked through all the clothes that he could have been wearing at the last time that he'd worn, driven his scooter, which was a week ago. None of these thoughts, none of these strategies were working. And I was like, I know what I need to do, but he needs to get this as well. So I said, well, I'm happy to go and find out where your keys are for you, but are you happy to do that? You need to meditate on this as well. So I asked him to meditate on it. And I asked him what he got when I'd finished doing mine. Anyway, so I went in my office. I sat here in my office. Welcome to my office. And I was like, where are these keys? Where are the keys for Rio's scooter so that we can find them? Where are they hiding? Have you hidden them? And I just got the message back, has he learnt his lesson? I'm like, oh, okay. So I knew what they meant. So I went back and I asked Rio, have you learnt your lesson from losing these keys? He goes, oh my God, Mum, I am traumatized from losing these keys. I've learnt my lesson that I would really take care of my stuff. I'll consciously know where I put them, and I will tidy up my room, and I will organise my stuff, and I'll be more pre-planned. I won't leave it until the day before I need something to do it. And I'm like, cool, all right. So you've learnt your lesson. So I'll go back and ask again. So I went back into my office and I asked, where are these keys? I was shown his desk. So I looked at his desk, and I thought, well, it's funny because I've looked at his desk, or I looked on his desk, looked behind his desk, I looked under his desk, couldn't see anything. I was like, that's funny. But then I got this feeling that it was behind the desk and to the right. Now, when I'd asked about where his keys were, I got this image of, it was grey, a bit pale grey. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Didn't really know what that meant. But when I got the feeling to look behind his desk and look to the right. So when I came out of asking, I said, thank you very much. I shall go and check and just see where they are. Thank you very much. I went up into his bedroom, looked on his desk, looked behind his desk, looked under his desk, still nothing. Oh yeah, to the right, at the back. So I got down on my hands and knees. There were some socks there, and there was a packet there, and I moved them out of the way. Now the socks were grey, the floor is grey, and the skirting board is grey. The walls are white, but I got grey. And then when I moved the packet and the sock out the way, I went, there are the keys. There they are. I don't need to look anymore. But I came downstairs and I said, look, here are your keys. And the interesting thing was he just grabbed me and he just hugged me for such a long time. He goes, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've learnt my lesson. I shall take care of my things from now on. And he wouldn't let go. Anyway, he went and did his scooter, and he said, I knew everything was going to work. I knew I'd be able to get the light to work. I knew I'd be able to do this, 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 and this. He said, okay, but thank you for showing me how you do things. Now, this is interesting because this is Raphael's message as well. So Raphael is the silver dragon. He's about the second or the third dragon that came through to me. His energy is very calm. He certainly doesn't insist that you go back over tracing your steps. He doesn't insist that you go through a particular system. He's just like, What is it that you're looking for? Show me what you're looking for. Put the details in there. What's it going to feel like when you find your keys or whatever you're looking for? I've lost credit cards and I've found them by using the strategies that Rafael has taught me. So this is what he's here for. His main message is about putting in the details. And when I was talking to my son about losing his keys, I was saying, okay, but you got the image of your desk. He goes, I did, Mum. He said, but then I got the key hook, and then I got the garage, and then I got the kitchen. I said, well, that's normal. That's okay. I said, but you did get the desk, but then your mind popped back in, and your mind was panicked, and it was like, oh, but it could be there, and it could be there, and it could be there. And all the time you're saying, but I've looked there already. I've looked there already. So Rafael teaches us sometimes that he says, what if you've already got them? What's the feeling that you've got when you've already found your keys or whatever you're looking for? What's the feeling that you've got? You're elated, you're happy, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so relieved. I've resolved a problem. I don't need to look anymore. He's asking you to put detail in there. As a dragon, Rafael is so calm and patient and unruffled. He is totally unruffleable. He's a silver dragon. He mirrors, oh no, that's interesting. He mirrors back to you because he's like this Mercury silver. So he's like a mirror. He mirrors back to you what it is that you're putting out there. So if you're looking at panic, you could be looking in thoughts. If you're looking in emotions and the stories that you're telling, they can't but help come back to you because that's exactly what you're putting out there. So he's very precise in that. And often when I'm in the middle of doing a creation, putting something together, Rafael I see is like a really favourite old professor. He would kind of sit there and he'd have his glasses on the end of his nose and he would kind of go, more detail, Fiona. So I'd go away, put more detail in there. He goes, more detail, Fiona. And he just keeps repeating the same questions and the same things, and he keeps telling us the same lessons. And he's so patient, and he's so loving, and he's so supportive. On this card here, part of my dragon deck, Rafael says, Rafael is one of the most patient of dragons, calm and gentle like your favourite professor. He reminds you of your focus and how to master your mind as a beautiful tool of creation. He pushes you through your beliefs and self-created boundaries, and that's why he mirrors that back to you. Rafael has certain messages. He's got 8 messages in all. All the dragons have messages. And he so wants you to understand how it works living in the 5D world, living in this intuitive world, shedding your 3D skin and just starting to operate with your 5D magic in tow. Like you're using it. It's like, I know how to do this. Let's go and do it. One of the main questions that I ask when I'm looking for something or when I want something to be fixed is, you know how to do this. Please show me how. People say to me, are you speaking to the dragons when you ask that, or are you speaking to your soul, Fiona? Because you talk about the both. I said, yeah, you're right. I speak to my soul, but the dragons direct the soul, and the soul is the one that gives me back the intuition. And she's the one that communicates with me even clearer. So we have a soul mission, we have a soul purpose, and the dragons are there to help us navigate through our human 3D, what we say last week for Tara, it was the obligations of being in the mundane world. And the mundane world is the world of the 3D. It's where everything seems like we have to do the education, we have to do the training, we have to do the practices. Whereas the dragons are teaching us to kind of think outside the box, to do things in a very different way, to have more fun with everything. So that is what he is basically telling us about. So what are some of the messages that Rafael has for us? One of the first messages that Rafael talks about is single-minded focus. Now, the cards are, they're talking to you from Rafael, from Tara, from Seraphi. They're talking to you as the dragon is talking to you. They're saying, you've come at a crossroads, or you need to put more detail in there. So when you hear a card being read, it's them that are talking to you, and you'll feel the resonance of it inside your heart, inside your body, inside your cells. And the ladies in my Dragon Portal who are learning to work with 5D and the Ascension and how to do that with grace and ease, they say, when I hear a message or when I hear you download something from your phone, sometimes there's so many words, and I don't listen to the words, I listen to the essence of it, and I understand it. And you get an image of something, you get a feeling of something. So you're using your intuition all the time. We've stepped into the intuitive age, and now it's time to start using that as our superpower. I particularly speak to and call in empaths, healers, Reiki masters, psychics, telepathy, kinesiologists, osteopaths, anybody who's working in that field where they need to put in more intuition. And to be perfectly honest, any field, if you're looking at banking, if you're looking about fixing things, I often say to my partner, it's not about drilling a hole here. It's asking the hole or the drill to work with you. When we work together and he gets stuck on something, he goes, you always find the solution. You always just make it work. And I said, because I talked to the bolt, or I talked to the screw, or I talked to the piece of wood, or I talked to the wall when we're putting plaster on it and said, oh, you know how to do this. Just show us how to do it. Absorb whatever it is that you need. And the energy around you changes. The air around you changes. Basically, Rafael is asking you to focus, is asking you to have a single-minded focus. And that's one of the cards, number 17. Single-minded focus makes your mind such a beautiful, beautiful tool. When your mind is on board and when your mind is working with you, you can create magic. Because you put such focus on something, you focus on the outcome. You're not focusing on the problem, you're focusing on the outcome. So be aware of the mind and the information that it's taking on board. One of the things that I was shown mostly to do, and I do that with my family all the time, is I hear what they're saying and I'm saying, turn that around. Oh gosh, this really, really hurts, or this isn't working, or why, or how on earth would I ever get the money for that, or how's that going to work? And okay, stop. You have no idea where the money's going to come from, or how the wrist is going to get fixed, or how the knee's going to get fixed. You know how to do this, please show me how. Single-minded focus is on the thing working, on the everything's working out well, everything's working out really well for me. And it's the essence. You work on the energetics of it, and then the rest of it follows. Rafael often talks about how you see it, how you feel it, how you're thinking about it, the stories that you're telling, the temperature of it, very much to do with the essence of something. So how the texture of it, the weight of it, the colour of it, the temperature of it, if it's also the texture, if it's graty, if there's a message in something. So when I'm working as a body whisperer, I'm often looking at when I'm looking into somebody's body and looking into that particular symptom that they want me to solve. It's about the wording that they use, it's about the temperature I get, it's about the message that's within the entity, the energy that's been created on the body, because the energy that's been created on the body, even the energy that's been created around your finances, or the energy that's been created around your relationships, comes from what you keep repeating. Even if you're not saying it, somewhere here there's something going on. And Rafael is really good at coaxing out of you, give me more detail, give me more detail, give me more detail. So he talks about weaving this information through so that eventually you can make the big tapestry. Hopefully that is making sense. There's a lot of information about the dragons, of how you live in the 5D world. It is a very different way of living, and it means that you just focus on something completely different than what you have been focusing on. So one of the first messages he has is about single-minded focus. Makes your mind a beautiful, beautiful tool, because your mind is working with you Your mind is not diverting. It is not chaotic. It is, it's like a magician. It's very, very, very focused on what he wants to create. So he's very, very focused. If you look at anybody out there who's making a business, who's doing really, really well, they know exactly what they're focusing on. And these are all the gifts and all the tools that we're doing over in the Dragon Portal. I'll put a link down to the Dragon Portal because it's phenomenal what's coming through the Dragon Portal as the dragons are helping us. One of the main things that people often say to me is, Fiona, but I just can't trust that I can do it, or that it's going to be done for me, or it's going to work. Trust. Trust is such a huge thing. And I've been shown by the dragons how to embody trust. And there's so many different exercises that you can do that just brings trust into your body so that you can just relax. Just, with law of attraction, you're told, think about something and it'll happen. You are what you think. Think about it and it'll happen. But often what's missing within all of that is how you're feeling. It's like you might think it, so like you've got an affirmation, but you're not feeling it. It's not residing well with you. You haven't got that certainty that it'll work because you haven't built up a trust in your soul. You haven't built up a trust that you can create things. So card number 18 is trust is the glue that is needed right now. So you engage a level of trust, a trust in yourself and your own capacity to create. This is such a lovely message because so often we give our power away. So often we allow others to tell us what to do or what's best for us. Look at doctors or education or certificates or insurance or what someone else says you should be doing with your business. Whereas if you trust and you've asked the right questions, you will get the information coming through. And this is so often where people are missing the whole point of living in the 5D world, when they're asking their business for something and they're like, nothing's coming, I'm really getting annoyed with this. And they're so easily distracted because they haven't got the single-minded focus and they don't trust the information that is actually coming back. I have to laugh, and it'll make you laugh as well. When I was first practicing my intuition, when I was first doing all the things that I was being shown, I wanted to listen more. I wanted the messages to be louder and clearer. And I was like, you're going to have to speak louder because I can't hear you. I can't pick up what's being said. And I just got this message back. They're rather cheeky. And they were like, shut up then. Shut up and listen. I was like, yeah, you're right. But how do I shut up? How do I do that? So this is the whole point of being in the Dragon Portal and learning how to live in the 5D world so that you can ascend into being a new version, a new identity of yourself, whole new identity. You'll still be you, but you'll have all the brilliant, brilliant things that go with it when you're living in the 5D world. Humans often want the evidence before they go ahead and they do something different. I just want the evidence. I want to know that it's going to work. I want the guarantees. We're so used to living in a world where we have a quick fix or a quick pill to take to do something, and we're not willing to do the inner work. Now, your inner world creates your outer world, and this is how you start getting evidence, because I can take you back to certain events that you've been through and certain things that have happened to you and what happened, what were the solutions, what worked, what didn't work. You already have evidence, and I want to show you that you already have evidence of your soul intervening, of your soul coming through and making things happen for you. You go, what? That relationship, it broke up and I'm really angry and this is not working and my finances are not working. I'm just like, but there's a bigger picture here. Whatever's happening to you, there's a reason why that's happening for you, for your own good, because you're meant to be playing on a much better level, on a much bigger level. But if everything's working out really, really well for you right where you are, you're not growing anymore in that relationship, you're not growing anymore in your business, your soul will intervene because she's bored. Your soul is being sucked dry and she can't take it anymore. She's like, this is not what we signed up for, human. So she will be giving you the evidence, but you're only looking for the good evidence. You're looking, well, if this works out for me, I know that my soul's on my side. Your soul is already on your side. She always has been. She always will be. She has been for lifetimes. One of the things that Rafael teaches us how to do, and the reason for doing it, is really described well in this card number 20, which is step out of your own way. When we are in our own way, we're just like my son was at the weekend when he was saying, but I can't find the keys. I've already looked there, Mum. I've already looked on the hook. I've already looked on my desk. I've already emptied out the whole garage. I've already looked in all my pockets. I've already done all the things that I'm supposed to do. Now, sometimes things will be hidden from your sight. You just won't see them. They'll be right there, but you just won't see them because you just need a different realization that there is magic. There is magic happening all around you if you just changed it. One of the things I said to my son this weekend when he was desperate to find his keys and he employed me to look for his keys as well, looking at in a very linear way, I said to him, right, stop. Because all he kept saying was, I can't find them, I can't find them. I said, change your view, change your perception so that you have found them. How do you feel when you have found your keys? How did I find when I lost my credit card and I went into panic? How did I feel when I found my credit card? What if you could trust? What if you were trusting your intuition? What if they showed you the desk and that was exactly where your keys were? What if you trusted yourself already? This is a massive message from Rafael to step out of your own way. The human is so used to being told that you're rubbish, that you're broken, that you've got beliefs that are holding you back. What if you already trusted that you had all the finances? Everything was going to work out well for you. What if you already trusted that you had the solutions at your fingertips? So you step out of your own way. What I was shown by Rafael and the other dragons was when I was coaching and I just wasn't getting through, and I was like, you know how to do this, please show me how. Fiona had to step to one side because she wanted to find the solution. She wanted to come up with it in a memory, and they went, no, step to one side, empty your mind and trust us, and we will show you which tools and how to get through to this particular client. What will resonate for them rather than you thinking of a strategy or a way that you remember worked for you or worked for someone else. Everyone is different and you need to come up with things in a different way. So step out of your own way. Focusing on the finer details is one of the things that Rafael loves to teach us. When you think about a tapestry, if you're creating a big vision of your world and you're thinking big and you've already had your vision given to you from source, if you've had a reading and you know it, you feel it calling you, you have this big tapestry in front of you and it's got colours and it's got texture and it's got temperature and it's not flat, it's not 3D, it's living, it's breathing, it's moving, it's like a big movie. But in the tapestry there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little threads weaving all the way through to do with the weight of it, the temperature of it, and your feelings. Most people don't have their feelings engaged when they're aligning with what it is that they want to create. So the finer details, focusing on your finer details, are those subtle sensations. Not just the five senses, not just your thoughts, not just your taste, smell, touch, what you hear and what you see, but it's the feelings. The dragons want to teach you how you feel your way forward. This is such a cool way of feeling your way forwards. Imagine that you were blindfolded, and I used to do this with the kids. Imagine that somebody's blindfolded you or just made you walk blind with your eyes shut, and they're leading you. And it's really funny, when you do that, your whole solar plexus, your whole stomach, everything just relaxes on the inside of you because you're being led. You're trusting someone else, hopefully, to guide you down the right path. And it's such a wonderful feeling. Now, this is what it feels like when they say, lift up your oars and just go with the flow. So this is the feeling of trust. This is the feeling of going with the flow. This is the feeling of allowing your soul to come through and guide you. You've stepped out of the way. You're not trying to control everything. And the finer focus is feeling. So when I was looking for the keys in my original story at the beginning of this call, I got a colour, But then I also had a feeling that it was, oh, it's behind the desk and it's to the right, and that's where they'll be. And that's exactly where they were. Did the dragons and the elves and the fairies put them there to hide them? Maybe. Did they just drop down there and, just we were oblivious? So the whole point of the dragons is they don't want us to be oblivious to what is really going on around us. Just to be a little bit more aware and more aware and more aware, so that we can live in this 5D world with new perceptions and understanding that we have so much help from all around us. Card number 22 from Rafael. I'm going to show you Rafael's eye again because he's so handsome. He's so handsome. And he is such a wonderful way about him. If I tune into his energy now, he's not in the shadows, he's not on the back burner, but he's very, very present. But when they say somebody who talks too much is just trying to prove that they know something, Rafael doesn't need to prove that he knows anything because he's got you. He knows you. And he can see into your world, and he knows exactly when to speak and when not to speak and when to just ask the right question. Like he says to me, more detail, Fiona. Or he says to me, you're overthinking it. Or he'll say to me, that is such a human response, Fiona. Get out of your own way. He is really encouraging you to be the artist of your own tapestry. One of the cards, number 22, that he has is art and the inner artist. So you're being asked to take time to paint a picture for us. Paint the picture in the colours and the details for us. Let us see what it is, what it feels like in your body, in your chest and in your solar plexus, and up into your throat and in your whole body. Let us feel how it tingles with excitement when this is a piece of art has been delivered. When he means art, he means anything that you want to create, anything that you want to find, anything that's lost, anything that you can feel the having of it. So that's where that little bit that's so misunderstood is going to be coming through when you learn how you're feeling safe to feel your feelings. You're feeling safe to get into a wider, broad band of your feelings, because all too often we don't want to be hurt, so we've lowered our bandwidth of our feelings, but that lowers our bandwidth of allowing happiness and joy and heart rejoicing and love to come in. So we live in a very narrow bandwidth of feelings. What Rafael and the other dragons are asking you to do is expand that, expand to a broadband, 5D, broadband, so that you can actually feel more. You can feel the good, the bad and the ugly and not be affected by it. You are the inner artist. Show us what you want. Show us what you're creating. Show us what you want to be the founder of. Show us what you're drawing. I've got a lovely lady at the moment in the dragon portal, and dragons are coming through her art. It's amazing to watch how people are getting messages from the dragons all over the place. Rafael is asking you to build a really strong relationship with yourself. He's asking you to know yourself better than anyone else knows you. And your intention to know yourself is more powerful than anyone else imagined. Because you're on target, you know your intentions, you're focused, you're clear in your focus, you know the feelings of it. So you're putting the whole thing over very congruently. And this is living in the 5D world. This is living with your intuition, living with a different perspective, and allowing and asking the dragons to help you through every single thing that's going on in your life. They are there. Yes. Rafael really wants to be part of your life, really wants to guide you the same as he does for me. In those little one-line sentences when he says, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it, Fiona. You're thinking too much. Or you're getting your knickers in a twist. Or that is such a human way to look at something. That is such a human reaction. And then he says nothing because he goes, you know that already. It's such a human reaction. Let's get you reset up with your intention so that you're looking at things from a different perspective. In the Dragon Portal, we talk and we meet every single week so that you are remembering who you are. You're remembering your magic. You're remembering to ask the dragons. I tell a lovely story of wanting to call in the dragons, not just for lost and found, but calling in the dragons for if I'm going somewhere and I need to speak French all night. I call in the French dragon. I call in the dragon that's going to help me be listened to, heard, so that I can understand the conversation, I can keep up. And it's amazing because sometimes I'll go there and I'll just be concentrating so hard. I can feel the conversation. I know which way it's going. I can follow it, but then can't articulate something. But then when I called in Sophie, my French dragon, ooh la la, she just had me in a different place. And it was easy and fun to speak French all afternoon and be understood and be included in the conversation. So that's exactly what the dragons can do for you. I've been here for 30 minutes introducing you to Rafael. Just one last picture of Rafael. Let me see if I can find another one in my cards. So these are the cards. Here's one of Rafael. This is him with the rainbow eye. So each eye has a different message. Oh, look, single-minded focus coming back up there again. And where's this one? Yeah, here we go. Need to focus on the finer details. Absolutely astounding. And hopefully you got an essence of what Rafael was here to teach you, and that you actually felt when he was present. He's very slow, methodical, very kind, very patient. Doesn't have a lot to say, but when he says it, it's really poignant. And he's always reflecting back to you what exactly he can see. So he's a mirror. He's this Mercury, shiny, silver grey dragon. Absolutely a beautiful, beautiful person to have in your life. I shall put the link down to the Dragon Portal. I'd love to welcome you into the Dragon Portal so you too can start working with the dragons. It's a year-long program in progress, and you will just fly. You'll just absolutely understand what the dragons are all about and what it is to live in the 5D world. Calling in the dragons, calling in your soul for every single little thing that you want to get resolved. And most of us have a long list that we want to get resolved, and as a human we can't deal with it all. It's just too much. We need extraordinary help to be able to go through this portal and to be able to land well in the 5D world.